On your marks, get set, bake.
I love that.
Good flavor.
That I really like.
That is delicious.
Bakers, your time is up.
What's the good word, people? We back at it again. It's Krème Patisserie. It's a Great British Bake Off podcast. I am your host, the Internet's Terror 713. Joined as always by my host, the other host, the Internet's Nick Jew. You know, people call her Nicole in real life. What kind of bullshit is that?
For like 46 years.
We back at it. In case this is your first time joining us, we usually make a show that is about the Great British Bake Off, and we review and recap of this past week's episode. And in this instance, we're going to talk Pastry Week, which is a favorite of mine because I don't know, I just appreciate pastry and just would like some pastry if at all possible. So I take advantage of that. What do we get this week? We got an elaborate riddle pastry bit that was funnier on rewatch than it was first go around. I was like, that's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, it's a poem, how whatever. And then when she bit the pastry, and he was like, his name is whatever. He's a character actor. Like, I lost it.
Yeah, like there you go. It didn't work. It didn't work initially for me, but it did work on second watch. So I appreciate that. Our remaining bakers in the tent are Andy, Christian, Dylan, Georgie, Jill, Ilyene, Nelly, and Sue Maya. And we recorded another show I do, Cadillac on Mars, last night, and I because we talk about what we are watching, I'll talk about Bake Off, and I said last night, and I'll repeat it here. This is one of the finest class of bakers this show has ever had.
Yeah,
and it is when they go home.
This episode was a ride.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was a roller coaster.
Yeah, I was a bit misty toward the end there. I was like, damn. That's the friend, that's the homie. So
yeah,
but such is life, people. But we don't just jump right into it. You know what I'm saying? Instead, I slide you a little bit of news in the form of our news segment called Bakers Make the World Go Round. I'm gonna push this button, and it does this. Bakers make the world go round. See, it's a delight. I think so every week. This week I pulled an article from People, which I was mad at for one of the articles recently. So, but this one seems to be right. More down our street, up our alley, however you wish to look at it. This is what really happens behind the scenes of the Great British Baking Show. You know, I hate people say that. 11 secrets about the competition straight from past contestants. This is Jordana Commodore on the byline. Whether they win or not, amateur contestants come away from the Bake Off with insight, including the fate of delicious pastries. The Great British Baking Show gives its contestants creative freedom when it comes to their confections, but there is more to the competition behind the scenes. Since its debut in 2010, the Netflix series, also known as Channel 4's The Great British Bake Off in the UK, has become a global fan favorite. Thousands of hopefuls apply each year, but only 12 are chosen to compete in the 10-week contest. The premise: a dozen amateur bakers face weekly challenges, with one eliminated each round until a champion is crowned. However, oven temperature and measurements aren't the only details competitors have to keep in mind as they work under pressure to impress the judges and be crowned the UK's best amateur baker. From re-wearing clothes to what happens to pastries, here are fascinating behind-the-scenes observations from the Great British Baking Show's contestants, plus tidbits from the team behind the beloved longtime series, Love Productions. phones aren't allowed in the tent. Contestants are asked to give their phones over before entering the tent where the competition takes place. Season 9 contestant Karen Wright told Express in October 2019, "Every morning you had to hand it in, and you got it back when you got on the baker's bus back to the hotel," she explained. And that about the phone policy, the baker's bus. Sounds like a good time. Contestants stay in the same hotel as the other bakers. While they can return home during the week, contestants must stay at a nearby hotel to film on weekends. When it's time for production to pick up again, the cast members take a minibus to the tents together. 2013 champion Frances Quinn told Cosmopolitan UK in September 2019, "You'd think it was fun. I just said I thought it would be fun, but it's actually all quite stressful. It was like going toward an exam, and then on the way back, some people had done really well in the exam, and some people hadn't done so well. And it was the next day when you know someone's going home," she said. Contestants don't socialize with the judges. In an effort to keep things unbiased, judges keep their distance from the bakers. During the show, they sit in separate areas from the contestants and are placed at a different hotel on the weekends. Speaking to Cosmopolitan UK, Quinn explained that while a few judges like to interact with cast members during the baking, while a few judges, it's only 2 judges. I guess at tops it is 4 judges. So 3 if you count Mary Berry. So that's a weird way to word that. During the baking process, others try their best to be fair and limit conversation while the cameras are rolling. We saw a lot more of Mel and Sue. Mary and Paul would purely come in to do what we call the royal tour, when they come in and find out what you were making, and then they'd come back for judging, she said. Contestants wear the same clothes for continuity. Although episodes are filmed over a 2-day period, bakers must wear the same clothes for continuity, according to Love Productions. By doing so, viewers can focus on the creations instead of sudden outfit changes. That said, contestants get a slight refresh in the middle. Luckily, they can change the aprons so we don't look like a Jackson Pollock painting by the end of it, Quinn joked to Cosmopolitan UK. Man, they really keep giving it up to Cosmopolitan UK. Word to them. Fellow season 9 contestant Anthony Amourdeau told Business Insider in September 2022 that the rule applies to presenters too. It's easy for the presenter or Paul Hollywood because I'll tell you what, he's only there for about an hour. After that, he goes and changes and chills out, he said. But if you're a baker, you're sweating in those clothes and you're probably stinky. Oh, wow. The technical challenge is kept a secret. Yeah, they tell us that. I don't know if you should be writing this, people. According to Love Productions, contestants are told about the signature and the Showstopper challenges. This is a part of the show. What are we doing? I'm upset with this article now. Contestants are told about the signature and Showstopper challenges. That way they can practice the recipes and perfect the dishes before going in front of the camera. Prior to filming, contestants are required to create 10 signature and Showstopper bake recipes in preparation for potentially making it to the final round. We get 4 weeks to come up with the recipes for the challenges, which didn't seem like a lot of time at all. 2014 finalist Chetna Makan told Digital Spy.
Chetna.
Yeah, the homie. 4 weeks to come up with 9 weeks of recipes, so 18 recipes. As viewers may know, the technical challenge is kept under wraps until the day of. Since it's a blind challenge, the details are revealed to everyone at the same time, and a gingham cloth indicates what's about to be discussed. The bake-off team washes every dish by hand. Well, home economists who are on hand to ensure every baker has their needs met from ingredients to setup are responsible for the cleanup, with help from a few others. Love Productions tells people that bake-off teams clean down workstations and wash dishes by hand, the latter of which details have been shared before. We have a good system with 2 sinks. A dishwasher would be too noisy and probably take longer. Also, if you got caramel, you got to use plenty of elbow grease, chief home economist Thana Moore told the BBC. In addition to the bake-off team keeps appliances in tip-top shape by conducting tests. For example, they bake a Victoria sponge in each oven. That I did know. I think Brad told us about that, how they test the ovens. The potential team covers ingredients costs. While contestants bring in their audition and preparation materials, production buys everything once filming begins. Competitors have until the beginning of each round to request ingredients. Sometimes they'll be awake in the middle of the night and they'll that's cool. And they'll have decided that, figs will be nice in that thing, that thing that will make their bake. Georgia May, a member of the production team, told The Guardian in July 2014. Additionally, a runner is stationed at the nearest super. Oh, that's cool. At the nearest big supermarket on the day of filming, in case contestants make any last-minute amendments to their recipes. Moore told the Radio Times in August 2014. Baked items have this is terribly written. I'm just telling y'all this. I'm telling y'all. Baked items are filmed every time they go in and out of the oven. Baked items are filmed every time they go in and out of the oven. I don't know what they want to say. Baked items have to be filmed, maybe?
Are. Take the art have out. They probably just missed it in the edit.
Have been filmed? All right, yeah, whatever. That R is just, throwing the whole thing off. That's what the problem with these people don't have editors anymore. And this is what you end up with, people.
It's crazy.
If there is an oven involved, a camera will be too. They want a camera on you every time you're going in the oven. Again, Brad, all the bakers from American Bake Show told us the same thing. So, looking in the oven, bringing something out of the oven, Quinto, Cosmopolitan UK. Season 4 contestant Ali Imdad echoed similar insights to Birmingham Live in November 2017, adding that it's the golden rule. Every time you wanted to put something in or take something out, you had to hail over a producer who would make sure you were being filmed, he explained. I feel like you always would have to be ahead then. Like, I'm about to put it out the oven in about 4. You might want to get somebody over here because if you got to sit around and wait, I'm not going, whatever. It's like 3 more paragraphs left, and I don't like this article anymore, y'all. So it's in the show notes. You can read the rest of it, and you can judge how awful it's written. Yeah. Close that.
I always knew that they went home during the week.
Yeah,
which is why I guess the American show is shorter because it's more expensive to house everybody in these apartments or whatever. But I mean, I was like, they got money. Y'all got money.
I mean, they definitely got bread, but I wonder if they don't have. Oh, what's good, Robert Stanley? Sorry, I see you. I was reading the article, so I didn't see you in the chat. But what's good? Hold on, let me throw this one up on the screen here so Nick can see it.
I can see it.
Oh, cool. What do you think about Noel's commentary? Do you find him entertaining, and do you believe his commentary / role is necessary? I do, because he kind of, for some people who probably need that in a sense, kind of like gives them a breath. You know what I'm saying? And I like that what he brings. I like what Allison brings even more because Allison got that mom energy, and she oftentimes mom and best friend energy that she brings to these contestants. So I like what both of them do in that regard as the host, because that's their job, that's their capacity. They're supposed to be doing stuff like that, and I dig that.
I enjoy Noel. I think he's funny, and I think that when he's getting on people's nerves, like this week, somebody was like, "You need to move." He moves.
He does. He's just like, all right, man. And then I love he was talking to Dylan about it, and then they cut to somebody looking at him like, this motherfucker. That is all 19-year-old energy, y'all. I'm telling y'all. But I fully now understand. Of course, if we're going to film it in England, we cannot film like they do the British version with the American guests, because ain't nobody in America getting 10 weeks off for you to kick it in England to do a production of that.
People do that all the time. Every time they go on a reality show, they get that amount of time.
Sure, but most of these people seem like they got jobs. Them people seem like they are like young folk who could just be out and about.
I'm talking about Survivor, Big Brother, like people. It is not unheard of for people to take months off of work to go be on some reality TV show. I
just want the full complement of bakers on the American Bake Off, and I know we can't get it. I want y'all to know this has nothing to do with baking. I really hate the Yankees. But I don't have a love for the Dodgers, but I love people that love the Dodgers, and therefore I can root for the Dodgers peacefully in my soul. Plus, Shohei Ohtani is a once a generation ball player, like once every 100 years ball player. Yeah. So
the real story is Freddie Freeman, who has hit at least one home run in every single game, including this one that just started.
Yeah. It means they're a historical kind of team. Watch
anybody embarrassing the Yankees, I'm here for it.
At all times. Dog walking. I want it done today.
Yeah. That reminds me too. Last week I meant to say while we were still on the microphone, I didn't get to it, but listening to this week's skim reminded me of it. I'm no shade for anyone who's taking a GLP-1 or a semaglutide. Like, I don't care if it's for vanity reasons, for health reasons, whatever. I pass no judgment about it. My statement kind of made it sound like I was like, oh, I'm natural. I'm better than you. I just mean to say that I think it's weird that people, whenever someone loses weight, they're like, oh, they got to be on that Ozempic. Like it's something to be ashamed of or whatever. I think that's so weird. But for me, my body doesn't handle prescription drugs very well, and I do not want to be on another one.
Fair enough. That's why you should be listening to Stage Country Milk as well, people. Just saying, it's a whole nother thing, whole nother show you be getting down with. Let's delve into this show and talk about it. Our first bake, our signature this week is what, Nick?
Our signature challenge is 12 Frangipane tarts. They can go for the classic tart flavors or their own creation. The judges are looking for buttery short crust pastry, beautifully baked Frangipane with at least one added filling. Prue wants them to look great with a thin pastry, and they have 2 hours to get their tart on.
Oh, Frangipane. I think I've had it. I don't know for sure if I've had it, but
Shame. I don't know. And I thought it was only almond, but apparently you can make many types of Frangipane.
yeah. Which is I was watching something. Somebody was whipping up different. They were whipping up different kinds of. You weren't there that week. We were talking about different variations of pesto.
Mm.
I never thought like pesto. I thought was
Basil.
pine nuts, basil,
Yeah.
but they've been working on using different kind of nuts. So Frangipane is a sweet almond flavored custard, typical in French pastry, traditionally made by combining 2 parts of almond cream, crème d'amande, with 1 part pastry cream, crème patisserie. Almond cream is made from butter, sugar, eggs, almond meal, bread flour, and rum. And pastry cream is, of course, whole milk, vanilla bean, cornstarch, sugar, eggs, yolk, and you whip that up with some butter, and there you have it. There are variations of both these creams as well as the proportions of almond cream to pastry cream and Frangipane. In this case, people were making pistachio cream and cashew cream and so forth and so on. So lots of good times we had here. Andy is who we visit with first. He's going for Nan's Sweets Frangipane. He tells a story of how every time he went to his Nan's house, she had a bowl of sweets. and that's what he's trying to write. And he would always go for the lime chocolate joint. So Aunt hooked us up once when we did we tried overall skim. We Trader Joe's had these chocolate covered lime, I don't know, ice cream joints or whatever, little bricks. And they were so bad because in my
chocolate, I'm just
chocolate and lime shouldn't be riding together.
Yeah, no. And I know people have issues with chocolate and mint, which I don't mind, but chocolate and citrus, it's just no.
It's not for me. So he's going for again Frangipane. So pistachio Frangipane topped with lime curd and a chocolate ganache decoration piped on the top. Jill's up next. She's going for pistachio and blueberry Frangipane tarts. She talks about how she always does these northern portions, but this time she's going to try to make them small, and they all keep calling them dinky. And I have to.
I wrote that in my notes. Like Allison called it dinky in the voiceover.
Yeah,
Prue called it dinky in the judging, and it was like a compliment. They're so dinky
because she always comes through with her northern portions. And this week she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna show you a little steady hand." Hers is going to be blueberry pistachio Frangipane, topped with blueberry compote and creme diplomat. And of course, I can tell you what creme diplomat is if you're so inclined. Creme diplomat is a mixture of equal parts creme patisserie, which is pastry cream, and unsweetened whipped cream. It's a popular cake filling for cupcakes and sponge cake. It can also be used to fill donuts and shoe desserts like eclairs and cream puffs. Depending on how stable one needs it, some people will add gelatin in it to make a more stable cream situation.
Also, I just looked up Frangipane, and underneath it was a picture of king cake. So I went further to see if king cake was made with Frangipane, and it is. So if you've had king cake, you've had Frangipane.
There you go. Georgie's up next. She's going for just straight up there. So Frangipane in the UK, the Frangipane most people get are Bakewell tarts. It's a known recipe that everybody seems to have. They sell them in the store, and so on and so on. So that is exactly what Georgie's aiming for: almond Bakewell tart, Frangipane tarts. She's going with the Frangipane that she's going to top with a raspberry gel, mascarpone, and chantilly cream. I want y'all to remember chantilly cream is simply whipped cream, just with a fancy name. I like what she had popping this week. I'm not saying she was, star baker caliber. She was, but she wasn't playing either. So I'm saying,
Yeah.
I think Georgie has pulled into her own now. She's been here for like 5 weeks. I think she's starting to feel herself a little bit. Like, okay, I got this work. Nelly. She's making iceberg Frangipane tarts. These are going to be hazelnut and almond Frangipane, topped with blood orange and torched with torched Italian meringue on top. I dig it. Iliane, taste of the tropics Frangipane tarts, toasted coconut Frangipane topped with passion fruit mousse and a dome of mango gel, decorated with chantilly cream. Sumaya, raspberry and coconut Frangipane tarts, a vanilla Patisserie is what she said it was made of when she was describing it during judging. And I was like, what is a Patisserie? But we'll get there. That's what her short crust is. With coconut Frangipane topped with coconut creme pat and a meringue and some raspberry gel. Patisserie is French for broken pastry. It's the French version of a classic short crust pastry. It's an all butter dough. They use for all kinds of pies and tarts. So it's just the French tweak of a short crust. Christiana is going for a cashew and black sesame Frangipane tart. Cashew sesame seed Frangipane topped with apricot jam and apricot royal icing. I was worried about Christiana. I was like, is you slipping back into bad habits? Do these weird shit, but well, we'll talk about it. Let us judge it. Iliane is up top. They like the decoration. The shells are terrible. She should have gone for a mango or a passion fruit, as trying to go for both means neither flavor really shows off. And the pastry is, of course, underbaked because as she initially started baking it, doing her blind bake, it's just started kind of melting in the oven, and she kind of just immediately took it out and snatched away. And that is not what I would have done in that situation. I don't know what I would have done to shore that up. I don't know, stick a toothpick in that bitch across it, something. But I can't call it. But she actually said she had overworked the pastry. So she seemed to understand what was going wrong and that something would need to be done to address it.
I felt so bad for her. She like, oh.
She had one of them weeks. And where it was just sorry for your luck. That's all it was. It wasn't really that she wasn't doing the do. It's just unlucky. Dylan they look scrumptious, they look shiny, the pastry is nice and short, but the Frangipane's not really coming through. It's chocolate overwhelms just about everything, and especially just some nuts, a light little, what's making these with? Roll back up to
Was this the first time that they didn't really love Dylan's stuff?
I don't know, but yeah, this does seem like the first time they was like, I don't know, bro, you just ain't really pull it off like
especially his flavors.
Yeah, they like the generalness of it, but they were like, the Frangipane is not here, and that's what I'm here for. So it's like you gotta pull back something to make that flavor be more present. Georgie, look like you want to eat them. That's a weird turn of phrase. I get it, but what the hell? Sure thing, but they have that classic Bakewell tart flavor, which is what she was aiming for. So that's what's up. Really crisp on the pastry. Good job. Nelly, the meringue is all over the place. To which Nelly responds, "It's Willy Wonka."
You know, I still have not been able to decipher what she said. It's just from Paul repeating that I know that that's what she said. Because I've watched it like 3 times, and every time I'm like, what the hell did she just say?
She does lightweight, sound like Moose and Square. So it's Willy Wonka. And so and so I understood it because he was like, Willy Wonka, chocolate factory. And I'm like, yeah, I got you, girl. And I just chuckled because I'm like, Nelly.
I love her so much.
Oh, I did not share with you, the listener who may not have watched the show. She's rocking her son's beret, his lucky hat. And
she has on a bunch of jewelry. She looks great. And like Noel was like, what's up with this outfit, girl? She's like, my son's hat.
Yeah. She let her babies choose everything for this go round. That's dope. Let's see. The blood orange is absolutely beautiful to prove. Paul gets the blood orange. The sweetness comes through from the meringue. The pastry is just too thick and overwhelms some of the tart. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I guess if you're going there expecting a thin, crisp pastry and you get something to the contrary, then you're not going to be bang with it. So, beautiful, but burnt.
I love how Prue is like, they're slightly overbaked, and Paul, it's burnt.
Yeah. The coconut comes through. Good textures, just overbaked. Christian, all even. I said, I like the design, but this sesame cashew Frangipane looks like fried mushrooms.
Let me tell you how shady the editing is on this show. 5 milliseconds before Paul says they're all neat, the camera zooms in on like 3 of them, and half the bottom of the crust is missing on one piece. It's like meringue hanging off the other piece. I'm like, y'all ain't shit.
Oh my God. The sesame isn't bringing anything, and the cashew is sort of lost. The flavor is okay, and the pastry is nice and crisp, but it looks like sardine pate.
Like sardine pate. I would have left.
It's been multiple times this go around where Prue has been saying that shady ass shit.
I would have just been like, cool, I'm going home.
So I'm gonna holler at y'all, man. Let me get at you. Andy, wiggly pipe work there. It should be more precise in week 5 is basically what they're trying to tell my man.
Yeah, it looked like I had made it.
The lime curd is delicious. The pistachio frangipane is delicious. The pastry is, of course, burnt because once again, alarm going off and he ain't listening to it. Just everywhere but where he need to be.
Oh, Andy.
Prue, on the other hand, says, hey, it's overbaked, but I need a whole one of these bad boys. It ain't because when they look, we know what burnt is because some of us, we've had to eat burnt food because
had to.
There was no other option.
Had to.
These just happen to be a little dark.
Mm-hmm.
Not anywhere near what you would actually call burnt. But
it looked like egg yolk though.
It's weird. All that they be doing. England is wild. Jill, of course, they saved the best for last, and that's no
my girl. What I tell y'all about Jill? It should be a segment on this show when I say something. What was it? 2 weeks ago? Last week, I said Jill's gonna go on a run.
Yeah. And it would seem that begins this week. They look great, very dinky, really good, delicious, great job.
They were beautiful. They were gorgeous.
Really were.
And then in the post interview, she's like, "This is hands down the best thing I do. It's all downhill from here."
She said her husband said it's the best thing she makes.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Ooh, and foretell. That's from some foreshadowing, y'all. Let's get to it. What's up next, Nick?
It's a technical challenge set by the Prince of Pastry, Paul Hollywood. His advice is don't underestimate the resting time. We can talk about this after the drop. This is Paul's take on the classic Greek pie, Spanakopita. He wants a spiral-shaped pie with homemade phyllo pastry packed with fragrant filling, consisting of feta and spinach. They have 2 hours and 30 minutes. I missed in my first watch when they said Paul's take on a Spanakopita because I was like, what the hell kind of Spanakopita is this?
I'm not saying I eat it regularly, but I eat it regularly enough, and it's always just a triangle.
Son, Greek is like my favorite cuisine of food, and I almost every time order a little Spanakopita. Now, have I seen it in a large format before? Absolutely, but not ever in a spiral with sesame seeds on top.
Spanakopita
Paul's take. Paul's
is a Greek savory spinach pie that is pie. The name is a compound word meaning spanaki, spinach, and pita pie. It often contains cheese, typically feta, and may then be called Spanakopita, spinach cheese pie. But the term Spanakopita is also common for the version with cheese. I don't think I've ever had the one with cheese. I only had the spinach onion kind of situation.
Yes, I think they all have spinach and feta. It's just very finely chopped feta, but there is one that is just cheese and phyllo dough.
Well, I might have to slide over to the West Side. Did you go to West Side Market when you were here?
No, wait, I don't think so.
That put it on the list.
Yeah.
I need to take you to the West Side Market. I think you'll have a good time. Plus, we get some Spanakopita. You know how this is. They make it. Oh my God! But I guess I should input a little bit on this one. There's no way you should be trying to have people make phyllo from scratch in this situation. Phyllo dough is so fine, and it's like, and they didn't even. I mean, they made, I guess, a variation of it, but phyllo dough is super. It's like layers and layers and layers of dough with butter between each layer and so forth and so on. And it's like I don't understand. 2.5 hours to make this? No. I don't even think bakeries are making, phyllo dough at that pace. They're probably just buying phyllo dough.
And Sabaya was like, "Oh, the instructions just say make the dough."
And of course, Andy was like, after having a decent signature, was like, "Hey, as long as they don't make me make phyllo dough," and I'm like,
"Damn,"
because I don't know how. And I was like,
"Damn."
Well, you're gonna learn today, bud. So
now, why wasn't you doing your Googles? They're talking about the 5 types of pastry. Do you know them offhand?
No. Are there 5? Okay, I guess. Okay, let's walk through it.
It was a little joke that Allison and Noel had, and she was like, "Yummy, chewy, delicious." The 5 main types of pastry dough: flaky, short crust, puff, choux, and phyllo.
Yeah, I was gonna say a choux was in there. Flaky. Short crust. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this all works. Man.
But then there's another one. The AI overview doesn't have flaky. It has hot water crust.
I wonder. Well, you know what ours comes down to? It's like basically what the French do, because that's basically is the father of all these styles. So hey, maybe hot water.
Pies, tarts, donuts, croissants. Yeah. I don't know. I've never heard of flaky as a type of anything, just as a descriptor. But
yeah, it's like, what do you mean flaky? Because phyllo is flaky. Short crust can be flaky. I don't know, bro. I'm gonna let that one get a walk. Yummy. We're gonna stick with Allison on this. Let's judge this output. Georgie's up top. Looks a bit soggy. Length of the dough, not bad. Quite wet inside, but delicious. Oh, I guess I'll explain to y'all. Basically, they were given a giant sack of spinach. I think they said 900 grams of spinach. It was huge. To which Noel responded, "It looks like a Cypress Hill video," which is quite funny. And spinach cooks down. It just does. And that whole bag, basically that whole bag of spinach basically was to go into this filling. So it cooks all the way down, but then you have to, of course, dry it out and drain it out, or it's just going to leave for a very wet pastry, and you don't want that. So you got to cook your spinach down. I have made a couple of times. I made these chicken breasts that were filled with ricotta and spinach and stuff like that. And one of the things is they want you to like basically cook the spinach till it's almost dry. Because basically the cheese will carry the moisture, the weight. So you'll get it back another way. Worry not. Eileen, pale, eat it longer in the oven, but the definition is there. Still wet inside, so delicious. Prue giggled when she ate it.
Man,
I want something so good that it make me laugh,
baby, or cry a little.
Yeah, a little something. You know what I'm saying? Andy, small, uneven, needed longer in the oven, really soggy, tasty, but doesn't meet the brief. Jill, pale, not left in the oven long enough. The rolling wasn't good. Thin bits, fat bits, needed way longer in the oven. Still wet inside. Nelly, not too bad. Had a little longer in the oven than everybody else's. Nice flake. Flavor's not bad. Christian, nice color. A little wet, but excellent flavor. Samaya, needed an extra loop. Color not bad. Nice flavor. Bit soggy underneath, but very nice. That is what everybody has done. So let's rank these individuals.
No one likes a soggy bottom.
For real, not in this situation. Jill comes in bottom, y'all. Bottom of the table.
Dead last.
She of course said it's only downhill from here. And it was.
And it was.
That's crazy. Underbake. Pretty wet underneath is what Prude said. Andy, too small, needed to be much bigger. Georgie, forgive me, is in 6th. Eliane's in 5th. Samaya's in 4th. Nelly comes in 3rd. Christian comes in 2nd. Could have stayed in the oven just a little longer, but the pie is delicious. Dylan, not perfect, which I don't think was necessary, but I guess whatever. But great flavors and textures. It's like, bro, shut the fuck up, then. Let me get that part. You ain't got to tell me it ain't perfect.
Right.
I'm still number 1. I guess man, we are rolling. This is what happens. Like I said, as we lose bakers, it goes by so much faster. Nick, give it to them.
I mean, people can appreciate an under-hour show. We'd love to see it. The Showstopper Challenge is a Paris-Brest centerpiece with an edible stand. Paris-Brest is a highly decorated gâteau consisting of a large choux pastry ring with at least one custard-based filling. They have 4 hours.
The Paris-Brest. Classic French pastry featuring a crisp almond-studded baked ring of Patisserie that is split in half horizontally, liberally filled with praline cream and finished with a dusting of icing sugar. They also mentioned creme mousseline, so I guess I'll tell you what creme mousseline. Creme mousseline is also known as German buttercream. It's fluffy and silky buttercream made of pastry cream and whipped butter. The key to success with a creme mousseline is to make sure the softened butter and the creme pat are the same temperature. You learned something today. Jill is trying her hand at a lemon and thyme Paris-Brest filled with lemon cream mousseline and lemon and thyme curd, topped with an Italian meringue on an orange biscuit stand. See how well explained that is? Nobody else really gets that down like this. Mine is going for a Tree of Life Paris-Brest. It's going to go for a croquant base. The pastries to be filled with passion fruit, creme mousseline. It's going to be topped with dark chocolate ganache. Croquant, if you remember, maybe 2 seasons back, they had to make a croquant as in one of their
with the puff balls or the puff pastry.
No, it was like the Swedish wedding cake situation.
Oh, I remember that. That was
yeah.
What's her name? Season, and she was like Swedish, the black lady, the pretty black lady.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Maxie.
Yes. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, her name is Maxie. No,
I'll tell you right now, I still follow her on IG.
Me too.
Yeah. So,
me too.
Croquant, in case you don't know, it's a pastry made from almond flour, eggs, powdered sugar. It's not really. Croquant also is another thing in a different part of the world. Croquant in Norway is basically a hazelnut brittle. So croquant is hard to look up because croquant actually describes the dessert, but she's using it to describe what she's making the dough out of, and it's levels to it, y'all. It's confusing. Dylan, contrast of tea, Paris-Brest. He's it's going to be filled with a roasted ceremonial grade matcha creme diplomat. It's going to be sitting on top of a black sesame nougatine base. I thought he also said the praline was going to have some other type of matcha in it. So he's going for a couple of different styles of matcha. And he's rapping to Paul about like, why don't you like matcha? And he says it's kind of drying on the mouth. He goes, it's better matcha out there.
Nasty is why he don't like it. It tastes like outside.
Here we go. We have an example of somebody who knew what they was doing with it. And he had a better situation, a better grass. Too much matcha, very grassy, might not be down your street. So, Christian, orange and pecan Paris-Brest, filled with pecan praline mousseline and orange cream mousseline, sitting on an almond nougatine stand. Ilian, crown of nuttiness, little Game of Thrones situation, the Mad Queen. Paris-Brest filled with hazelnut creme diplomat, dark chocolate ganache with hazelnut praline on a golden chocolate stand. Nelly, pistachio Paris-Brest filled with pistachio praline cream and raspberry jam with a stand to be made of profiteroles, aka cream puffs, which themselves will be filled with a nice little coconut cream.
That's the thing I was trying to remember. They had some showstopper where they had to do a bunch of them cream puff things.
Yeah, it's that shit has a name. Tower of those things is called a croquembouche.
Yes. Did we talk about how the Paris-Brest got its name?
No, there's I guess there was a bike race between Paris and Brest in France, and it meant to look like Andy was saying that look like a bike tire.
Yeah,
like, France is wild. I mean, I get it. Like I said, we eat what we eat because of them in a lot of situations. So, but still, that when was the Paris-Brest race that this?
It was like
because bikes had to exist as well, so a lot of things had to be happening for this to have been
like
a thing.
the 19 teens or something like that.
So that's a relatively, maybe like €100 recipe at best. Paris-Brest history: the round pastry, i.e., wheel shape, was created in 1910 by Louis Durand Patisserie of Maison Lafitte at the request of Pierre Riffard. To commemorate the 1,200-kilometer race, 750-mile Paris-Brest Paris bicycle race, he initiated in 1891.
Brett, they have a limit of 80 hours to complete that. It says some will complete it considerably faster.
Oh, the race? 750 miles? Yeah, that's wild. The pastry providing typically... I don't care about the killer. Come on, get out of here with that. Become popular with riders of the Paris-Brest race cycle because it provided the calories required for intensive. Oh, that's why you're telling me the calories. It provided the calories needed for an intense and intriguing name was found in patisseries all over France. Okay, so that's kind of cool.
It's like a big old profiterole with a hole in the middle.
Facts. Who do we leave off on? Georgie's up next. Pistachio and raspberry Paris-Brest, filled with pistachio creme diplomat, raspberry gel. It's going to be sitting on top of a stacked sponge cake layer that itself will be wrapped in a chocolate collar. Andy, all you need is love. Paris-Brest. It's going to be filled with pecan mousseline, decorated Mussolini is what he would call it. It's going to be decorated with a date caramel with rum. Kind of praline situation on the top of it. It's going to attempt to sit on a stand made of toffee. You hear toffee, and I think I don't know. I might think of remember when Brock used to sell boat candy? You go to the store and there'd be a bunch of like different candies, and you get like a few and put them in a bag, and it was like you know what I'm saying? Those toffees were fire.
Yeah.
Oh well,
I mean, isn't that what's inside of a Heath bar toffee?
Yes, but I'm in my mind. I'm thinking of the soft toffee.
Yeah, I straight went to the Score or Heath bar toffee.
Thanks. And we are certainly glad to put y'all on to Paris-Brest game. That's what we do out here. But either way, yeah, like you said, a Score or a Heath bar or so forth and so on. It's nothing to build a home off of, people.
Yeah.
And that's you just take that. You walk with that, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. All right, let's judge it. All right.
So before going into this judging, Noel was, they're having their chat, who's in trouble, who's whatever. And Noel was just like, okay, so a bunch of people were kind of horrible in the signature, and some people were really great. Dylan was really great in technical. And he's like, so now I'm just sitting here thinking that it's really comes down to the showstopper.
Yeah.
I personally was not showstopped, but again, no fault of the contestants. I think the brief didn't lend itself to something that I would have been like, whoa, that's amazing.
That's how not showstopping it was. I forgot to ask that question because I wasn't showstopped and it wasn't even in my heart to ask you.
Just the pictures that I see of the Paris-Brest online are gorgeous. And I think that the edible base part kind of, I don't know. I thought Eileen's was really pretty. I thought Georgie's was really pretty. There were some that were very well decorated, but there was nothing that I was like, that's incredible, except for Eileen's and Georgie's, because their bases were off the chain.
Yeah. Eileen, in fact, will be up first. And I like the way Prue approaches this. Looks like a country baking shop, but sophisticated at the same time. This one that it won't sit on the stand, but again, remember, y'all, these things have to sit out there for hours before they actually come and judge them. And after a while, stuff don't get soaked through. Like I get it that some people did stand up to it, but some people did not. Disappointed that it won't stay on the stand, but when they taste it, this is another one where it's like, yo, you can see how taken aback they were by how good it was. It's beautiful. The praline comes through. They actually literally say it's wonderful. It's a well-baked shoe ring. It's very, very good. And immediately I was like, okay, well, she's safe. Because, you kind of was a little worried about her, but that took care of business. Dylan's up next. The stand looks amazing. The Paris-Brest, though, looks small because it didn't rise. They explained to you during the baking process that if you pull a shoe out too fast, it'll just go flat. And that's exactly what Dylan did. And so he pulled it out the oven too fast, and that bad boy collapsed. He was like, "I'll just fill it with cream. They won't notice." Like, why do you think you're young? That was your young and ignorant speaking. You know what I'm saying? They gonna notice, baby, and they notice. The matcha flavor isn't strong, which of course Paul appreciates. But Prue's like, I needed more shoe to balance out this cream because it was a lot of cream, y'all. And he just he did fine. So again, never was worried about him.
And he the whole time thought his thing was gonna collapse, and it was like the sturdiest base out there.
Wow. Georgie, the stand is exceptional. The detail incredible. They like the pistachio, but the shoe is overbaked. And then they go and they taste the stand, and Paul is like, the stand is better than the top. I'm like, oh, you crushed something, Georgie. So well done, lady. Nelly, neat. There's an elegance to it, but it's short. To it, Nelly responds, it's just a small mushroom. She was aiming to make a tree. She ended up with a mushroom. So, lovely collection of fillings outside of the shoe. Outside of the shoe is great, but then Prue points out how the inside is just underbaked, which is I'm like, how do you even manage that?
How do you know that with all that wet stuff in there?
Yeah, for sure. The coconut shoe buns are delicious. The flavors are great. The shoe is just not. Christian, the stand is elegant. Looks like Baroque wrought iron. The flavors are fantastic. The shoe is okay. The orange mousseline is just not right. It's too thick. The praline cream, though, is very nice. Samaya looks amazing on this. We disagree. I did not like the way hers looked this week. It had a messiness to it that I just wasn't vibing with. But the detail they felt was incredible. They felt the filling absolutely perfect because you could taste the passion fruit. But the shoe is overbaked. But that also lent a hand to keeping the structure well because it was overbaked harder, and therefore it held up to sitting around for a while they wait to judge it. Andy. The bake on the ring is very good, but there's no punch from the flavor. The mousseline is a little bit soft. And of course, it has no stand because he tried to make a stand out of basically, like Nick said, a score bar, a Heath bar.
And Paul was like, I told you. I didn't tell you. I thought I told you.
And when did I tell you? A long
time ago.
Oh shit! It really was.
And what did I tell you was going to happen?
Exactly what did. Oh shit. Jill, of course, once again saving the best for last. Real winning edit this week for my girl Jill. She came.
Man.
Love the simplicity of this as it celebrates what's on top, and what's on top is the best looking Paris-Brest in the tent.
In the tent, baby. In the tent, baby.
Here we go. Again, this is we're adding something to Bake Off lore with this episode, y'all. Paul takes a bite, steps back, and begins to applaud.
And then the whole tent erupted in applause.
Thus begins the Hollywood hand clap. Heretofore unknown, but we got to give it up.
Couldn't have happened to a better baker.
For sure. Prue, I sometimes Prue get it and Prue get it. And she was like, it tastes absolutely divine. It's lemony and sharp, which works with the sweet meringue whirls and the orange biscuit. Oh, can I? She goes, can I? Breaks a little bit off that base off, puts it in her mouth, starts chewing. Just delicious. Mouth full of damn cookie. Like, it's lovely.
It was a couple times this week. Prue just had cookie all in her lipstick. I'm like, she got a great job, bro. She is enjoying the hell out of these pastries.
For sure. The shoe is delicious. The filling is delicious. Love the piping on top. Jill absolutely bodied this week, y'all. And of course, is our star baker this week. Earned. Yeah.
Earned.
Yeah. No, in my opinion, nobody even close. Nobody even touched what she was doing.
Even though she came dead last in technical.
But yeah, technical only count when it count. And it wasn't going to count against her this week when she had such an amazing signature and a show-stopping, the only showstopper amongst the show in the show-stopping category. Once again, her simple pipe work, but effective pipe work. I'm saying because she's so good with that. Jill a contender. Jill and Georgia, my double G's. I'm telling y'all people right now, man. DMGO contenders. Are we out of dudes? No, we are down to
Christian
and Dylan are our last gents in the tent.
We might have an all-female final.
Respect it.
Dylan is it's giving me Jurgen vibes because this is the first week that he's kind of slipped up. So if he doesn't do as well next week, he might go home.
I think he need one of these weeks.
Yeah,
like let me get you right quick. Like you ain't that good, bro.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And Christian, he's on the bubble for me. Like he could do really well, but he takes these risks with his flavors that Paul doesn't. Paul do not go up for his flavor combinations.
Stop it.
Yeah. Seriously.
Oh my gosh. Do you know what this next week is? I don't think I checked out what this next week is going to be.
I don't know. I don't think Netflix tells us ahead. It just says like next week. But sad to see our guy Andy go this week. Like it was heartbreaking. I saw it coming though. When he just as soon as his thing broke and he couldn't put the top on it, I'm like, oh well, that's gonna be that for him.
Okay, there's a reason I didn't know that theme. It's not a normal theme. I am salty Andy went home. I really have enjoyed his presence in the tent. I love the Dick Van Dyke English accent my man is rocking with.
He just seems like a cool ass dude. Like I would want to go grab a pint and watch some footy with him. Like he seems real cool.
That's one of them dudes who I hope makes a YouTube channel after this. Yeah, I like to hear him talking about, and it can be about baking, sure, but it can also be about cars because he's also a trained mechanic. So either way, just whatever you want to talk about, bro, I'm down. You want to discuss some F1? Have at it, bro. I'll listen. So that's what's up. We're gonna miss Andy. You know what I'm saying, one of the ones. Like I said, once you get this far into the season, it's like, damn.
Oh, every loss, everyone's gonna be tough from here on out.
Yeah. Your theme next week, autumn week. Or this week or tonight, if you were in England, already happened. So you know what I'm saying. So you get
it's better that than Mexican week.
I mean, I guess
never again.
I figured it was gonna be chocolate week.
Oh,
but maybe they'll do that.
And then after they suffered through caramel week, maybe they were just like, let's push chocolate week out a little bit.
Autumn seems too wide a theme.
Also, chocolate to me, it's one of those weeks, kind of like caramel, that there's not a lot of baking involved.
Yeah.
Temporary chocolate.
You can, though. You can force hands. Like, I want a chocolate cake. I want a chocolate this, that, and the third. But you're right. Autumn is a little looser, and maybe we can see what we can get out of that.
Yeah.
Some kind of, we're going to get some kind of like hot water crust pie.
Or some scone or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what the hook is about to be. I want you to make me a delicious, what's the pies they always make with
Shepherd's
lard and shit in them?
The shepherd's pie.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. I mean, you do got to
That
bake.
feels very autumny to me.
Yeah, I can get that vibe. A pot of chili.
With some
make some homemade Fritos to put in that.
Right. And some cornbread.
There you go. That's what's
14 hours.
But of course, that was this week's show. You know what it is? Holler at us over our podcast at stagecrunchyMilk.com. No love for Frank this week, but I'm gonna assume Frank is a busy man and just couldn't hit us up this week. So we'll see. But we got some comments in the chat. Thank you both for hollering us in the chat. Question of the week.
I just had them both in my head and just forgot. We were talking about the different. I should have written them down. Like we were halfway through the show, and I was like, one of them is this or that, yes or no, and the other one is. God, what were we talking about?
The 5 pastries.
No, because I don't think anybody can pull the 5 pastries. I'm gonna take this one offline.
It's all good. Don't worry. It'll be
drawing a blank.
There'll be a poll in there. I mean, unless you whip something right now. I don't know. You know what I would ask in the poll this week? There you go, people. We'll work it out. Worry not. Eventually, Nick will just text me, and it'll be right there. So that's what's cracking in with that one. Next week is election day.
Yeah, I don't mind taking a small break from sitting in front of the television, freaking out. I just had not decided if I was going to go out, because that's sort of a thing that happens here in Poughkeepsie. Is bars will have like drink specials and whatnot.
Just for sanity's sake, let's move it to Wednesday. If your Wednesday is open.
Yeah, let me check my real quick. Next Wednesday, it should be fine.
So there you go. If you watch us live, we're gonna move it a day just for our sanity. And
yeah,
I just need that, okay, people. Although, look, I'm a super superstitious dude. I don't want to say out loud what I believe to be true, but I truly believe it to be true. And I don't believe it in the way that I was like, oh, Hillary will win, because I just kind of thought that made sense.
Yeah.
I truly feel like, going on the numbers that have been presented to us thus far, she about to dog walk this motherfucker.
I mean, like, obviously in the popular vote, yes, but I think it's going to be so close, which boggles my mind. It'll be close. Yeah.
Well, we shall see. And maybe we'll be crying on the show next week because of all bad news, or maybe I'll be celebrating on the show next week. And tis what it is. Also got a phone number, 216-264-6311. Feel free to leave a voicemail, or you can just you can text that bad boy if you're so inclined. And like I said, we do it live. It's been real fun to do it live. And so I don't know. I enjoy it. I like this whole service. It really has brought out a lot of creativity in your mans.
Very cool.
It's good times to be had there. That is Nick Jew.
I did my first solo show. It's behind the paywall in our Patreon. So if you are a subscriber of that sort of thing, even if you just want to subscribe for a month to hear me talk about this most recent season of Love is Blind, and then you can unsubscribe, I'll be fine with that. Would love some feedback on my first ever solo show.
What'd you feel about it?
I thought it was good. I listened to it. I was like, oh, it's not bad. It felt okay to me.
You've been podcasting for 11 years.
Yeah.
I think you're okay. I think
you're
good at it. And you're an actress. An actress by training.
Yeah.
I think you kind of got this, okay? I'm just going to be honest with you.
It's just some things that you discover when you're talking by yourself. I had to have really good notes, and typically I'm not a notes person. We just get on the mic and start talking. I might jot down a few things I want to talk about, but I had to be very strategic about this. And there's no time to drink water because no one else is talking.
I'm just gonna do it. I'm like, hold on, I gotta take a sip. I'm just gonna tell.
Yeah, it could be a fun little drinking game if you want to play along. How many times I drink a sip of water and take a drink.
Our missing man is the 216 on Tatum 216. Send him some love. And I am the Understair 713. Bank with us again next time. We'll do it then. Peace.
What happened to your ass? It used to be beautiful.